We treated this film with such honor to the original film, and, you need to respect the classic.
Every studio executive in Los Angeles lies awake thinking about the same nightmare scenario. Not a bad opening weekend, not a brutal review on Rotten Tomatoes. It's waking up on a Tuesday morning to discover your $200 million franchise lead just turned your marketing strategy into a global PR crisis. A bad tweet, a leaked set meltdown, a single unscripted sentence at a press junket that triggers boycotts, lost sponsorships, and emergency corporate apology statements. In modern Hollywood, exactly one A-list star has spent over a decade delivering $100 million blockbusters without ever triggering that nightmare. Gal Gadot, 0 set meltdowns, 0 public feuds, 0 unscripted clips weaponized by the internet. In an industry where one wrong soundbite can derail a multi-year universe, Gadot has maintained 13 years of absolute narrative control. This isn't a debate about her acting ability. This is about the one operational skill Hollywood quietly values far more: never becoming the liability. To understand why this matters, look at how studio finance actually works. When a studio greenlights a $200 million tentpole, they aren't just paying for cameras and visual effects. They are underwriting a massive financial risk involving insurance policies, global distribution in 80 countries, and corporate brand tie-ins. Consider Will Smith at the 2022 Oscars. In 10 seconds, an unscripted moment derailed Apple's $120 million rollout for Emancipation, forced massive marketing rewrites, and turned a prestigious release into a press tour of Damage Control. That is what studios fear. Billboards pulled, press tours canceled, brand partners demanding indemnities. This is why contracts include moral clauses, and studios retain crisis PR firms on 7-figure retainers. They are constantly calculating an actor's risk profile. Before signing a $20 million paycheck, executives ask 2 questions. Can this actor sell tickets? And will they cost us more in crisis management than they bring in at the box office? For 13 years, Gal Gadot has represented the lowest risk score in town. Her media discipline didn't start in acting class. Before Wonder Woman, Gadot served 2 years in the Israeli Defense Forces as a combat fitness instructor. That's not Comic-Con trivia. That's operational training in chain of command discipline, personal accountability, and message control. The exact traits Hollywood demands from a global brand ambassador. Compare her to Robert Downey Jr., early in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Downey built Iron Man on pure, electric unpredictability, unscripted rants, chaotic press tours, and a volatile persona that made him magnetic. But that unpredictability was an insurance nightmare that required Disney to build legal buffers around him. Gadot chose the opposite model. Every interview answer, every red carpet soundbite arrives pre-sanded, on message, and controversy-proof. That isn't luck. It's a trained skill she mastered before ever reading a script. Look at what happens when a studio loses control of its lead. Amber Heard's legal battles became a permanent shadow over Aquaman 2. Ezra Miller's arrests forced Warner Brothers into a $200 million PR salvage operation for The Flash. Jonathan Majors' conviction forced Marvel Studios to scrap an entire multi-year phase of their cinematic universe overnight. Every single one of those disasters shares the same root cause: an actor doing something the studio couldn't control. Gadot has given studios over a decade of zero exposure to that vulnerability. In an industry running legal teams dedicated to star risk mitigation, that isn't a footnote. That is the actual product being bought. Then there's Geopolitics. A modern blockbuster cannot rely on domestic box office alone. To break even, it must clear release approvals in sensitive international markets. One careless political comment, and a film gets blacklisted in an entire region, wiping out $50 to $100 million overnight. As an Israeli actress who served in the IDF, Gadot carries more built-in geopolitical scrutiny than almost any other star leading global franchises today. Yet across DC blockbusters, Fast and Furious films, and worldwide press tours, her team has navigated that scrutiny without a single incident derailing a release calendar. That is active, hyper-disciplined brand management operating at the highest level. To see how effective this system is, look at the moments the armor actually wobbled. In 2020, she spearheaded the infamous celebrity Imagine video, universally mocked as out of touch. Years later, her casting as the evil queen in Disney's live-action Snow White triggered intense online backlash, political debates, and boycott threats targeting the film. For most stars, back-to-back viral hit pieces trigger a downward spiral. Defensive follow-up interviews, awkward PR statements, or chaotic social media posts that prolong the news cycle. Now look at how Gadot's team handled it. no multi-page apology statements, no emergency sit-down interviews, no defensive posting. The backlash hit peak intensity, flooded the news cycle for 7 days, and met total, unyielding silence. They starved the story of oxygen until the internet moved on. That refusal to feed the news cycle is a masterclass in crisis control. This exact profile explains why streaming platforms like Netflix invest so heavily in her. When Netflix spent $200 million on Red Notice and another $150 million on Heart of Stone, they weren't chasing Oscar nominations. They were buying frictionless global content. Streaming algorithms depend on frictionless international consumption. They need stars recognizable in 190 countries whose public image causes zero corporate pushback and generates zero boycotts on a homepage. Gadot delivered hundreds of millions of watch hours precisely because her star persona is designed to be zero risk. So is Gal Gadot a limited actress? That debate has been happening in comment sections for years, but it misses how Hollywood actually works. Audiences evaluate acting range. Executives evaluate predictability. The fundamental question studio heads ask isn't, will this performance move people to tears? It's, can this person carry a $500 million corporate asset without becoming tomorrow's headline? For 13 uninterrupted years, her answer has been a clean, undeniable yes. Hollywood isn't just casting talent anymore. It is underwriting risk. And Gal Gadot remains the closest thing the modern entertainment industry has to a zero-risk asset. An actress who has spent her entire career proving that the most valuable performance isn't the one happening on screen. It's the one happening everywhere else.